Thank you for joining once again. Uh, if you have any questions, just let me know, and then we'll start immediately, inshallah. Okay, no questions. I have sent you assignment one, and the main objective of assignment one is 106 or CS1. This is one aspect, especially at the main topics that will continue in CS2. Number two, it's basically a way that give you some good grades, I hope. Uh, the assistant will the assistant Shahab will be able to conduct the first lab today, and he will give you some similar examples to the assignment. So please be sure to attend uh, the lab as well. And from my side, I am open for any questions that you might have. Please start immediately with the assignment. For today, we'll continue our review for CS 106, and I do believe that we'll take another lecture, which is Thursday, I believe, to finalize this review. So today, Basinat will take classes in the review, and also we will have 4 or 5 lectures talking about OOP and OOD as well, in which we will re-review classes. So we'll have lots of classes discussion this semester, and whether in the review or in the first bunch of lectures that we're going to have. So let's start with the functions once again for people that who have joined. If you have any questions with the assignment, pose it in the lab, or at least you can send me whatever questions you have on the WhatsApp. I may a small extra session with this section and the other section probably for half an hour after Thursday class for whoever is interested to discuss any missing point or any clarification with the assignment. So this will be, I believe, next Thursday for whoever is interested. This is away from the normal lecture. Once again, my main objective is to let you review a topic from 100. However, you can gain 20 marks plus as a bonus. And why plus? As I have mentioned in the assignment, the sky is the limit. You can actually innovate in the classes that I have given you, adding more attributes, adding more functions and stuff like this. So the more you add, the more you get as well. And once again and again, I just need all of you to exert as much effort as possible in the assignment, because this is the main base for CS2. So you have to solve the assignment and you have to exert some efforts in it. Grades is not as important as remembering 106, because this will make your life far easier in CS2, especially the classes, the pointers, the classes and the pointers. The classes will have so much classes in CS2. Actually, all of it is based on classes. And for pointers, we'll have lots of problems with pointers starting from the 5th or the 6th lecture. So good luck anyways, and be sure that I can guide you in the assignment, and don't panic if you don't have a pleasant experience in CS1 for a reason or another. Just don't panic. Just have a fresh start. Do what you can to do, and inshallah, I trust that all of you will be doing
دكتور هو في لاب عندك تقريبا.
at the end. So I'm there for you, and I hope you are all doing. Will review 106 and will give you similar problems to the assignment as well. So it's very important to attend the lab today.
دكتور
Yes,
دكتور
yeah.
so you were lagging كنت بتقولي بس بخصوص اللاب بتاع النهارده.
دكتور احنا ما سمعناش اي حاجه، كان في لاج جامد قوي بصراحه.
حد سمع حاجة ولا مشكلة عندي أنا؟
وأنا برضو دكتور is freezing.
أنا مش سامع برضو.
يبقى المشكلة عند الدكتور.
أنا من أول ليكتشر مش سامع حاجة أصلا.
هو في لاب النهاردة طيب ولا إيه الدنيا؟
أيوة في لاب النهاردة تبع شهاب. It's at 7. بس.
في لاب تاني يوم الأربعاء صح؟
في لاب تاني يوم الأربعاء بس ده مش تبع شهاب، ده تبع مريم other team.
هو اللاب النهاردة ده ثابت يعني ولا إيه الدنيا؟
الميعاد بتاعي ثابت
ده تقريبا
ده غير هو ده غير الهيدن لاب؟ يعني
هي دي الهيدن لاب.
تقول إيه؟
ده غير اللاب بتاع يوم الثلاث.
ايوه اللاب بتاع يوم الثلاث ده كورس لوحده ملوش علاقه يعني.
طب هو ايوه طب بالنسبه
للهيدن
للهيدن لاب الهيدن لاب كان فيه يوم سبت يوم حد، ده الاثنين ده زياده ولا ده حاجه تانية؟
هو 2 و4.
مفيش يوم سبت ومفيش يوم حد، هو يا 4 يا 2 يا 4.
تمام.
لازم
هو بعت
صح؟
بعت ايميل لي كده صح؟
لازم نحضر واحد بس فيهم صح؟
ايوه لازم واحد بس، وشهاب قال انه it's the same content كل حاجه.
تمام.
لا يا دكتور حضرتك بتقطع برضو.
في ديلي مش كده؟
Maybe a doctor, you can try using a mobile hotspot.
This is what I'm doing. سامعيني كده؟ أنا غيرت الكونكشن.
ايوه كده يا دكتور.
كده أحسن بكتير.
ممتاز. طيب متأسف. طيب was there anyone with questions? Mahmoud, you have a question, or you wanted to tell me that the voice is not clear?
Yes, doctor, I was talking about the lab today بس يعني على الديت مش أكتر.
Yeah, there is a lab today, yes.
Okay, at 7 يعني المفروض أحضر يا النهاردة يا يوم الخميس صح؟
بس يعني strong advice إنه for every one of you to attend today يعني.
خلاص أوكي تمام يا دكتور.
Okay. So let's begin today with the functions. First, can any one of you tell me what's a function in C++?
الفانكشن يا دكتور الكومبوننت اللي يبقى جواه اللاينز بتاعت الكود.
تمام، يعني elaborate a little bit more into that.
بيبقى فيه تايبس، بيبقى فيه حاجات فيها انتجر وبيبقى فيه حاجات فيها فويد على حسب الريتيرن، بيبقى فيه parentheses بتبتدي بالفانكشن في اول الفانكشن وبتخلص في اخر
لا, I'm
الفانكشن.
not saying about how to write a function in C++. What I'm saying is that what's the use of the function? Basically,
certain task
is what? Mustafa, can you speak?
يعني make a certain task يا دكتور. يعني I write a function مثلا to add two numbers. I write a function to يعني anything.
Great. طيب, who else was speaking? What is the main use of a function in C++?
Doctor, we can use it to write a bunch of the code, like as a part of the code. For example, if we have many tasks to do in our code, we can create a function for each task and it makes it more organized.
Yes, that's great. There's one missing thing. Anyone wants to say something?
can be called multiple times.
When it's called.
Exactly, Afedi. Thank you, Afedi, for this. So the main use of a function, first, what's a function? A function is a code component that may have an input and may have an output, but a function is a component that does something. And why are we writing functions? We are writing function to use them again and again from different programs and many times from the same program itself. And in object-oriented, there's a term called reusability. What's reusability? As the name implies, reuse. So the function is made to be reused. So you make a function once and you reuse it again and again and again. So this is the main purpose of the function. And actually, in 106, you may have learned to divide your programs into functions. And the more you divide your program into functions, the more efficient code you have. So basically, the more you divide your function and the less big your main is the better. Because this means what? This means that your code is reusable. This means that this means that your code is reusable. So there are two kinds of functions in C++. There are what's so-called built-in functions, and those built-in functions are the functions that exist in the C++ library. Okay, such as the library of CMath, such as the library of IOStream, such as the library of String, such as whatsoever library that you have. So those are built-in libraries. Okay, that come with the C++ compiler or the C++ environment. And there are user-defined libraries. What's meant by user-defined libraries? It is meant by user-defined libraries. Those are the libraries that they are made by you, the programmer. Those are the libraries that are made by you, the programmer. In this course, you will be able to implement, to design and implement user-defined functions, and you will be able to implement your own library. So there should be Rana's library, Freddy's libraries, Yusuf libraries, Adham library, etc., etc. We're going to do that after very few lectures. And then after you are doing your library, you will be using it, or somebody else will be using Rana's library. Okay, so as I said, there are two kinds of C++ functions: built-in functions that exist in the C++ libraries, and there are the user-defined functions, the ones that are built by you. Okay, let's have a look first at the built-in functions that exist in the libraries. We have the CMath libraries. We have the C standard library, and we have several functions for that. In the CMath, we have square root, we have power, we have float absolute, we have ceil, we have floor, and I guess you have used them in 106. Okay, so there are the functions that exist in the standard library. Let's now tackle the functions that are built by you. Till this moment, you don't know how to build your own libraries, your own functions. Your own libraries. But definitely you have learned how to build your own functions. So there are two kinds of functions. There are functions that we call by value, and there are functions that we call by reference. And calling by reference in this course is really an important topic, because at many occasions we will make functions called by reference, not by value. So it's very important to know the difference between call by reference and call by value. So first, let's know the normal function, which is call by value, and explain what call by value means. So I want a volunteer with me. So anyone who wants to help me, so please do.
I can.
Okay. So Freddy, then Anna, then Yasin.
بس يا دكتور.
Okay. But Freddy already have talked and Anna. So let's start with Yasin. Okay.
Yes, doctor.
Okay, Yasin. Okay. So for this small piece of code, so first of all, let's go to the main. And at which line we're calling the function, Yasin?
Where bill equals total underscore cost.
Okay, that's great. So let's highlight this part. So Yasin is telling us that we're calling a function from this line. So if you have seen this part, this means that I am calling a function and I am expecting an output. And the output of the function will go to bill, which is a variable. So sometimes the function has an output, some other times the function doesn't have an output. In this case, it has an output. So Yasin, coming back to you, where's the function implementation?
Like at the bottom, double total underscore cost.
Exactly. And where is the formal parameter and the actual parameters, if you recall this part from 106 here?
So the parameter which we're calling by, or the parameter which is defined in the function?
Yes, the parameters first that we are calling the function with.
So it's being passed number and price as an integer.
Exactly. And they map, to number underscore bar, and the price maps to what, Yasin?
Price par.
Exactly. Okay. So there's a mapping, which means that the two variables, number and price, they are mapped, or they are the input to the function that is named total cost. So number will give its value to the variable that belong to the function. So the function, the variable that is named number, it belongs to the main. And that's why the scope of this variable is the main. What does it mean, the scope of this variable? Yasin, if you may answer. What does it mean, the scope of the variable, if you still remember? Yeah.
So the scope of the variable is defined as where the variable can be seen. So outside of this block, we cannot see this variable.
Exactly. So as Yasin rightfully said, the scope of the variable is where the variable is seen. What does it mean, seen? It means that the domain in which the variable is still being defined. So if I go inside the function, there's a variable here that is called number, assuming that I made number equal 3. Will this be allowed? No, it will not be allowed. Why? Because the function doesn't know that number is doesn't know what's meant by number. It is undefined. It is undefined for undefined variable for a function. However, if I made number equal 3 inside the main, it's known to the main. So the scope is where the variable is being defined. The variable is being defined. By the way, anyone who doesn't understand what I'm talking, if it sounds Chinese, so just let me know. So this is the scope of the variable. So we have the variable that is called number, and we have a variable that is called number underscore bar. So the input to the function is number, and the function's variable is number underscore bar. What does it mean, calling by value? Calling by value means that the variable that is named number exists in a memory location.
دكتور
And
ان انا مش فاهم قوي بصراحة يعني.
طيب انت مش فاهم ايه؟
مش يعني حسيت ان هي شاينيز فعلا، هي كل حاجة داخل في بعض.
طيب من اول فين مش فاهم؟
هو والله كله داخل في بعض معايا يا دكتور، يعني
طب نبتديها حتة حتة، اوكي؟
معلش يا دكتور.
طيب احنا بنقول النمبر منين يا تيام؟ بنقول الفانكشن منين يا تيام؟
من كود النيم يعني ولا الايه؟
من المين. فين الكولينج للفانكشن؟
السي ان نمبر والبرايس؟
لا، ده انت بتنبت حاجة من اليوزر بالسي ان.
اوكي.
بعدها في ايه؟
مش عارف بصراحة.
لا بص على السكرين.
البيل دي ايكوال حاجة مش عارف.
ايكوال توتال كوست. توتال كوست دي ايه يا تيام؟
ده النمبر وبرايس كومبايند يعني ولا؟
لا، توتال اندرسكور كوست ده اسم ايه؟
الكوست بتاع
ايوه، يعني انت بتنده ايه؟
بنده الايتم يعني النمبر والكوست والبرايس مع
لا، يعني اللي مكتوب هنا توتال اندرسكور كوست.
الفانكشن
بالظبط، ده اسم الفانكشن. خلاص. فبيل ايكوال توتال اندرسكور كوست. توتال اندرسكور كوست موجوده فين؟ موجوده في الفانكشن اللي تحت.
ايه
صح؟
صح.
طيب فين الانبوت للفانكشن دي؟
الانبوت بتاعها لا مش عارف بصراحة.
نمبر وبرايس، ده الانبوت بتاع الفانكشن دي.
اوكي ماشي.
طيب اول ما انده الفانكشن دي من المين، بتروح نادها الفانكشن اللي تحت اللي اسمها توتال اندرسكور كوست، وبتديها الانبوت بتاعها.
اوكي
يعني النمبر اندرسكور بار هو النمبر، والبرايس اندرسكور بار هو البرايس.
اوكي ماشي.
لغايه هنا كويس؟
تمام كده.
طيب كده تمام. وبعد كده بنعمل شويه كالكوليشن هنا، وبنرجع فاليو. الفاليو دي بتتحط في فاريبل اسمه بيل. بس دي كل الحكايه.
اوكي ماشي.
يعني يا دكتور في الاخر بيل هيبقى فيها النمبر وفيها البرايس الاثنين صح؟
لا، بيل what is this in the function? Return subtotal plus subtotal times tax rate.
Okay.
What is returned and will be put in the variable that is called bill is the value equal to subtotal plus subtotal times tax rate. تمام؟
طب انا ليه كده يا دكتور كتبت ما بين براكتس النمبر والبرايس؟
النمبر والبرايس
يعني ليه ما كتبتش على طول؟ سب توتال تاكس مثلا؟
نو، النمبر والبرايس دول الانبوت بتاع الفانكشن.
اوكي.
بعد كده the function it says double tax rate equal 0.05 وبتديفاين السب توتال بتعمل equation and
Okay.
after you do the equation you return subtotal plus subtotal times tax rate. Return means that the value of subtotal plus subtotal times tax rate will go to the bill. Will go to the bill.
اوكي.
This
Thank you.
is
طب
نعم.
دكتور بالنسبة للفانكشن ممكن نحطها قبل الانتمين فانكشن عادي ولا لازم تبقى بعدها؟
لا I don't مش فاهم.
الفانكشن اللي هي التوتال كوست تمام مش هي محطوطة بعد الانتمين؟
محطوطة بعد الانمين، ممكن تحطها قبلها برضه.
طيب انا كنت بسأل بس على كده.
تمام. يعني if you want to define it after the main you have to put the function header here. Okay.
تمام.
That is the function header. And then after the main you put the function code.
ما ينفعش اكتب الفانكشن كود على طول فوق وخلاص؟
ينفع تكتب الفانكشن كود على طول فوق وخلاص.
without
يعني
using
كده
the header.
ينفع وكده ينفع يعني.
خلاص تمام شكرا دكتور.
اوكي طيب. اوكي تمام you have to review 106. اوكي.
ما انا بحاول اهو يا دكتور افهم عشان انا نسيه خالص زي ما قلت لحضرتك في الاول.
اوكي فكرتني بالموضوع. اوكي لا يعني اوكي.
انا بقالي سنة ونص كنت واخده من سنة او سنة ونص
اوكي
فنسيت خالص يعني.
معلش اهو فرصة تفتكروا يعني.
ما انا بحاول دلوقتي.
اوكي ماشي حبيبي.
ميرسي يا دكتور معلش بتعب حضرتك يعني.
لا يا فندم. اوكي طيب. Returning back to what we were discussing. What does it mean call by value? طيب. First, every variable in C++, is allocated what? Allocated a memory location. Is allocated to a given memory location. This is what we have said in the previous time. Each and every variable will have a memory location. So we start by number. This is a variable. Price. This is a variable. Bill. This is a variable. So we have 3 memory location. One for number, the other one for price, the other one for bill. And once we call a function, we will have another different memory locations that are called number underscore bar and that are called price underscore bar. Okay, so we have 2 other memory location, number underscore bar and double underscore bar. Okay, and this is what's going to happen as number 1. Number 2, if the number we have is 3 and then the price is 4 and we are calling this function. So number underscore bar will have 3, price underscore bar will have 4. What does the compiler actually do? The compiler actually copies the value of number and the value of price and puts them in the memory locations for number underscore bar and price underscore bar. So what does it do again? It creates a copy it creates a copy of number and put a copy in the memory location called number bar. It creates a copy of price and put it in the memory location that is allocated for price underscore bar. So it creates a copy. We have one memory location for number and another, and I repeat, another memory location for number underscore bar. So two memory locations. Price, we have one memory location for price and the same memory location for another memory location for price underscore bar. Yani they are copies from each other. So what will happen in the function? Double tax rate equal 0.05, subtotal equal price underscore bar, which is basically 4, times number underscore bar, which is basically 3, assuming that we entered them like this. So subtotal is equal to 12. So the bill and will be equal to 12 plus 12 times 0.005, which is equal anything you want. So what I want to stress here, that call by value means that the variable in the main the compiler will copy its content 3 to another variable that is related to the function. So this 3 for number will be equal that 3 for number underscore bar. This 4 for price underscore bar will be equal to this 4 this 4 for the variable that is named price will be copied to the memory location for the variable that is called price underscore bar. So again and again and again, two different memory locations with the same value. So this is called call by value. What does it mean, call by reference? So the first thing that you have to notice for call by reference is how to differentiate in the function definition between the call by value and by the call by reference. So you will discover this small and. You will discover this small and. This means call by reference. This means call by reference. And what does it mean, call by reference? Let's have a friend with us, if he or she remembers. So, Abdurrahman, you're with us?
Yes, doctor.
So, do you remember what's called by reference?
Well, I remember, no, like when you input the value in the parameters, يعني it gets the value من من الميموري مش الفاليو نفسه. يعني فعشان لو غيرته بعد كده it gets changed to the new value.
Yes, يعني انت فاهمها بس you didn't يعني express it well. I will explain it. Okay?
Okay.
So be with me, Abdurrahman. Okay?
Okay, doctor.
Okay. So we are in the main here. We have two variables. What are their names?
First number and second number.
Exactly. Okay. So, and we have a function here, 3 functions after each other. What are their names, يا عبد الرحمن?
Get numbers, swap values, and show results.
Exactly. So let's concentrate on get numbers. Let's concentrate on get numbers. Okay. Let's concentrate on that. Okay. So get number. What is the input for this function?
First num and second num.
Perfect. Great. So this first underscore num will correspond to value 1, and second underscore num will correspond to variable 2. Yes?
Oh, shouldn't it be to the function above it?
Sorry, to the function above it. أنا آسف. معلش. حقك علي. So first num for input 1 and second num for input 2. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. And we have our friend and here. In the call by value, we don't have this and. Right or wrong?
Yes, right.
Yeah. So if we see this and, this means call by reference. In call by value, we have said that first num and input 1, they have one memory location or two memory locations in the call by value.
1.
No, 2. We have two memory locations. So I remind you of what we have been saying. Here, this is number and this is number underscore bar. We have one memory location or two memory locations?
Oh, two memory.
Two memory location. Here. In call by reference, we have one memory location. So for first num and for input 1. Why? Because this is called call by reference. So if I change inside the function input 1 and input 2, this means that the value of first num and second num in the main will be changed. يعني ايه الكلام ده؟ If first num and second num, we assume that they are 0. So first num is equal to 0. Second num is equal to 0. Okay? And then be with me, Abdurrahman. So input 1 and input 2. C out, enter two integers. C in input 1 and C in input 2. So assuming that the user entered input 1 equal to 3 and input 2 is equal to 4. If we are calling by reference, what happened, ya Abdurrahman, to first num and second num?
First num becomes 3 and second num becomes 4.
Exactly. First num becomes 3 and second num becomes 4. طيب. If we didn't put those two lovely ands here, will first num and second num change their values?
No.
No. So call by reference, this means that first num and input num, they will have one memory location. They will have one memory location. So when I change the values for input 1 and input 2, they will change the values for first num and second num. بالبلدي كده هم ساكنين في نفس الشقة. فلو أنا أثرت على واحد التاني هيتأثر. As simple as this. So this is called call by reference. So you understand now what's called by value, what's called by reference for
Yes.
everyone? Okay, that's good. So let's go now. Today we'll finish a little bit late because you're lagging with the other class. Yeah. So let's have what's so-called function overloading. So if we go back to this piece of code, so I need to have one volunteer with me. So I'll have Ahmed Mustafa.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, Ahmed. So Ahmed, in this piece of code, do you see that get number is defined once or defined many times? يعني, do you find many functions that have the name get number, or it's one function?
No, it's only one function.
It's only one function. Function overloading means that you have the same function, you have the same function name in your program more than once. However, what's the difference? What's the difference? The difference is that you will have the same name of the function, but with different
Number of
input. With what?
Number of parameters.
That with great, yeah, Ahmed, with different number of parameters. You have the same function name with different number of parameters. So if you see this piece of code, AVE and AVE, this is the same function name, right? Ahmed?
Yes.
This is the same function name, which is AVE, average. Okay. However, there are here two input parameters, double N1 and double N2. And here is three input parameters, N1, N2, N3. So two names and two same names with different input parameters. So this means function overloading. This means function overloading. This means function overloading. What's primarily function? What is function overloading? It means that I have two or three functions that they are doing plus or minus the same. So they are doing those two functions for average, they're doing average. However, one is averaging two numbers and the other one is averaging three numbers. And we can have another function that they are averaging four numbers. Okay. Can you pick an example for a function that can be overloaded? So someone think of another example for function overloading.
The power function.
Which means what?
Like 2 power something or 5 power something. We can have.
No, not really. I'll tell you why. Because for power, you will always have the same input. the number and the power you want to go for.
Okay, we can have multiplication tables.
In what sense?
Like when you want to get the multiplication table of 5, so we enter a set of numbers, and the function is multiplying them with 5. Other function will multiply them with 3, and so on.
Not really.
An addition.
An addition.
Addition function.
Doctor, I'm not sure what you mean by overloading function.
So Adham, look at AVE. We have in our program, in our main, 2 functions. Look at this program, Adham.
Yes.
How many functions named AVE?
2.
2. So this means function overloading, that you have 2 functions with the same name with different parameters. One 2 parameters, the other one with 3 parameters.
Okay.
So you have the same name but different parameters. This is called function overloading. Okay.
Okay.
So returning back to all of you, pick an example where you will have function overloading.
The absolute value function.
In what sense, Yasin?
We can have one that takes an integer as a formal parameter and one that takes a float as a formal parameter.
Yes, that's great. Yes, that's right.
A function that gets the maximum and minimum?
In what sense?
You give it يعني مثلا XYZ variables containing numbers, and then it يعني calculates which variable has the biggest number and which variable has the
could be as well. Could be as well.
دكتور برضه ممكن فانكشن بتجيب ممكن يعمل فانكشن بتجيب الماكسيمم والمينيمم، بعد كده اعمل لها اوفرلود اخليها تجيب الرينج مثلا.
ممكن. What else?
The square root function. You can have some to deal with the ordinary square roots and the other with complex numbers. The root of
great. That's right, yeah, Mustafa. This is the right example. I'll give you another example, compute an area. So you can have a function for compute the area of a rectangle, another function compute the area for a triangle, the other function compute the area for a square, for a circle, etc., etc. Okay. So let's. I was talking to Mustafa, I believe. Yes, let's talk to Mustafa. Okay. So if you have this piece of code, yeah, Mustafa. First, when C out average 2.0, 2.5, 3.0. So which function will be called, the first or the second?
The second
and which
one.
AVE will be the second one, because it has 3 parameters. So what does the compiler do? The compiler actually, based on the number of parameters in the main, will call the right function. So if you call it with 3 parameters, the second one will be called. If you call it like here with 2 parameters, then the first one will be called. So this is basically function overloading. So let's go to arrays. First of all, the array is a data structure. And to remind you what a data structure means, it means that I have my data, which is some facts. So the data can be your ages, can be your skin colors, can be anything, can be your length, it's a fact. Data is a fact. Okay. And structure, what does it mean, data structure? It means that this kind of data is organized in some way. And if you pick the suitable data structure for your program, what happens in your program? Someone answers. If you pick the right data structure, what happens in your program?
I think it will be more organized. You have all the data connected together.
No, not really more organized. Yes, this is an indirect thing, but other than being more organized, if you pick an efficient data structure, what happens to your program?
It will be faster.
The
It will be
storage will
faster.
be smaller.
Less memory usage.
Possibly, but not necessarily, but possibly. But it will run faster, yes, because certain application, if you choose the right data structure, this means that it will run faster. And we will see at the end of the course, not at the end, towards the second half of the course, that some applications, some searching for some data, if you pick certain data structure, the searching for a piece of information will be much faster. So for some applications, choosing the right data structure makes your program run faster. Okay? So let's go into the array. What's an array? The array is simply a collection of data of the same type. And it's really very important to know that the array contains the same type of data. It is a collection of data. It is a collection of data. It is a collection of data. So the array, you draw it as a horizontal line. It has some slots beside each other. Some slots beside each other. And those slots have some data of the same data type. So you will find in the array a collection of integers, a collection of floats, a collection of booleans, a collection of strings, etc., etc. So they are a collection of data of the same type. How to declare an array? You say the data type for the array, which means that all the elements in this array will be integer. The name of the array and the number of slots that exist in the array, which is in this case how many slots يا جماعة? 5. And there's what's so called the array index. And the array index starts from 0. So if I have 5 slots, the first index, which is the first slot, is 0. The second index, which is the second slot, is 1. The third index is 2. The fourth index is 3. And the fifth index is 4. So we start by index 0 to index n-1. And n is the size of the array, which is 5. So this is how to declare an array. Type. Let me have some volunteer with me. Who is my friend now?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, Ghada. Okay, you volunteered. Okay. So here, where Ghada did I declare an array?
Where? And the main function.
We're in this line, which is int score 5. This is the declaration, right? Rada?
Yes, doctor. Yes.
Yes, okay. So let's see step by step this piece of code. So this is cn score 0. What do I do here, Rada?
I define a slot.
Yes.
For the first slot actually, which is
Yes.
index 0.
Yes. So I let the user input what he wants to put in the first slot. Let's assume it's 3. So score of 0 is the first slot in the array, which has a size of what, ya Rada? Size of how many?
The array size of 5.
Size of 5. Okay. Okay. So score of 0 is 3. Max equals score of 0. So we have another variable called max, and we assume it's 3. Okay. Let's continue, Rada. For I equal 1, I less than 5, cn score of I. So I input the slot number what, ya Rada, for in the array?
The slot number 2.
Slot number 2. So let's assume it's 5. Okay.
Yes.
So there's a comparison here. If score of I is greater than max. So what is the value for max?
It's the value of score. Score. يعني it's 5 now.
So score of I, which is score of 1, is it greater than max or not?
It's not.
It is?
It is the
It's
doctor.
greater, yes.
It is greater. Hail. So 5 is definitely greater than 3. So what will the max be? Max equals score of I. So max will become, instead of 3, will become how much, ya Rada?
5.
5.
Mumtaz. 5. Then I will enter the third slot. So let's assume that the third slot is equal to 1. Is score of I greater than max?
No.
No.
No. So the max will be still
5.
Mumtaz. Then I have another number, which is 2. If score of I greater than max, 2 is greater than 5 or not?
No.
Okay. Then I input another number, which is the last number, because for I equal 1, I less than 5, and I is originally 0. So I enter 4. Will the max change?
No. It will still be 5.
Okay. So the moral of this piece of code is to find the maximum number in the array. So it basically assumes that the maximum is the first number, which was 3 in this case, and then checks if the second number is greater than the maximum. If yes, it will become the maximum. If no, then the maximum will stay as is. So this is the moral of this story. I do care about you understand two things: how to declare an array, and also how to access the elements inside the array. Let's have another example for the arrays, which is this piece of code. So let's have another friend with me.
Okay, doctor, I can try.
You can try? Okay, you can try. Okay. So this is what, ya Mustafa?
يعني first he's declaring the
No, this is what basically.
this is an array.
No. This whole gain rectangle.
It's a function.
It's a function, yes. It's a function. So
معلش
let's
كنت اتلخبطت بس.
step by step.
Okay.
ما تتوترش.
Okay.
خليك هادي، مفيش حاجة ورانا يعني. لسه الماتش الأهلي الساعة 8 باين.
ايوه يا دكتور والله عايزين نلحق الماتش.
ما احنا هنلحق إن شاء الله. بس سيبوني نلحق الماتش.
ماشي.
اوكي. ما اعتقدش هتلحق لأن عندك لاب.
لسه في لعب اصلا.
ان شاء الله يعني، بس مش مشكلة، مش هيفوتك كتير يعني.
بالظبط.
عموما. This is a function. What is the name of the function يا مصطفى؟
Function search.
Search. طيب. The input is an array. And I want one answer. This is called by reference or called by value?
Call by value, I guess.
Value.
Call by value. طالما we didn't see our friend and this is called by value.
Yes.
Okay, so this function takes as an input an array. That's why int, and we have two brackets.
Yes.
And then we have the size of the array, and we have what we are looking for, which is a target. Which is a target.
Yes.
So read this function يا مصطفى and tell me what does it do in general. Yeah.
Okay, ماشي. Well, he first start he made that the index equals 0.
Yes.
وبعد كده يعني هو عمل while loop. فطول ما هو خلى الاندكس يبتدي ب0، فطول ما الاندكس دي اصغر من النمبر يوزد اللوب دي هتقعد تكمل لحد ما يوصل ان هي يعني
مش بس كده.
هو يعني he keeps searching يا دكتور لحد ما يلاقي.
ايوه كده تمام يا مصطفى. كده هتلحق ماتش الاهلي.
تمام يا دكتور.
So this function is keep looping. I first assume if I am searching for something, I first assume that this something does not exist. This something doesn't exist in the array. So if this is my array, this is my array, assuming that I have an array of 6 elements, and I am searching assuming for 5, assuming. So at this second line, I am assuming that I don't find the array. I don't find 5 in the array. I am assuming that found equal false. I still didn't find 5. So this loop says what? Loop while, and this is a Boolean expression. This is a Boolean expression. So please loop as far as you didn't find the element and you are within the 6 elements, which is the size of the array. So loop as far as you didn't find the element and you didn't exceed the size of the array. I repeat, loop as far as you didn't find the element, what you're looking for, and this is and. If you remember from the previous lecture, please study. And index is less than number used, which means that you still didn't exceed the 6 as the size of the array. So what does we do, ya Mustafa? If target, if what we are looking for equal compared to a of index. At the beginning, ya Mustafa, a of index, which means a of 0. It is equal to 3, yes?
Yes.
and target is equal to what يا مصطفى؟
Target is equal 5.
5. 3 is equal to 5?
No.
No. So index
لو
plus
الاندكس
plus.
هتقعد تكمل بلس
كويس.
لحد ما يوصل ويوقف.
ما انا بقول لك
اللوب
دون
هتقف
يعني ما تتهواش step by step. So index is equal to 0 and now index become 1.
Yes.
So target is 5. A of 1 is what?
A of 1 is equal 3.
No, A of 0 is equal
أو
3.
A of 0. أيوه يبقى A of 1 equal 4.
Equal 4. يبقى 5 equal 4. Yes or no?
لا no.
طيب نكمل.
دكتور سوري
index
انا عندي
بقى
سؤال.
بكام؟ 0 ثم 1 ثم 2.
هو افهمه، ممكن افهمه عشان يا دكتور هو بيقول ازاي. عشان احنا هنا بنبتدي الاري اوف 0 اللي هي بتبقى ايكوال، يعني عندنا الاندكس بتاعنا بيبقى من اول 3 دي هي الاري اوف 0.
طب تمام.
1 بعد كده 4 دي بتبقى الاري اوف 1. فاحنا بقى يعني فاحنا ابتدينا من اري اوف 0 فاللي هو بيبقى ايكوال 3 فبتبقى 3 مش ايكوال ل 5 فبنقعد نكمل.
ممتاز. 4 not equal to 5. 5 is equal to 5.
Yes.
Once يا مصطفى انه 5 is equal to 5
بنوقف
found become
equal true. خلاص كده اللوب
ممتاز ممتاز. طيب نرجع على اللوب. not true is equal to اللي مش صح يبقى ايه؟
false.
يبقى false.
false.
exactly. false and true بيدينا false ولا true يا مصطفى؟
false and true اظن بيدينا false.
ممتاز. مفيش حاجة بتدينا true غير true and true.
Yes.
خلاص؟
تمام.
يعني صح وصح بيدينا صح. صح وغلط بيدينا غلط. صح أو غلط يبقى صح. غلط أو غلط يبقى غلط.
تمام يا دكتور.
تمام. طيب if found بtrue صح؟
Yes.
return index يبقى احنا found 5 at what index يا مصطفى؟
2.
ممتاز. Everyone got this?
دكتور انا I have a question.
Yes يا علي.
هو انا مش فاهم بس احنا عرفنا ازاي ان target equals 5 ولا ده احنا assumption؟
لا ده assumption خدناه من المين اللي انت مش شايفه. يعني في main that you don't see where you say target equal 5 and you call the array you initialize the array by certain numbers and then you call this function given that the target is equal to 5.
Okay.
يعني I just showed you the function itself. However, I assumed that there is a small main where you initialize the array with numbers and where you put a target. Yeah. Yes?
Okay. Thanks.
Yes, Ali?
Okay.
Okay, حبيبي.
دكتور عندي سؤال معلش.
Okay يا تامر.
هو الريتيرن نيجاتيف 1 ليه بس معلش؟
Return negative 1 if you didn't find your target, assuming that instead of 5 you make it 10. What you're looking for 10. Did you find it here يا تامر؟
No, it's not here.
Then if you didn't find it, then the function will return -1. And then from the main يا تامر you say if the return value is -1, you see out to the user I didn't find the element. I didn't find the element. Yes?
Okay, yes يا دكتور.
Okay حبيبي.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to the pointers. No. Let's go to second dimensional array and then we conclude, and on Thursday we have to have يعني a long lecture إن شاء الله يعني. So for the second dimensional array, what is meant by a second dimensional array? The first dimensional array is an array with one dimension. So the first dimensional array is something like, look, like if I have an array of age, so this array will contain your ages, or anyone's ages. So this means that for the first person, the age is 19. For the second person, the age is 20. For the third person, the age is 21. For the fourth person, 22, 23. This is the first dimensional array. Type. What if I have many students and each student have 3 quizzes, the marks or the grades for 3 quizzes. So what do I do? Can someone tell me?
create an array with named مثلا score نحط فيه ال 3 scores بتاع students.
Exactly. تمام يا آدم. So assuming that I have 4 students, if I have for each student 1 grade, خلاص, this is one dimensional array. And the one dimensional array, we don't have this second bracket. So we have grade of 0 for student 1, grade of 1 for student 2, grade of 2 with for student 3, and grade of 4 for student 4. So this is one dimensional array. But what if each student have 3 quizzes? So we cannot fit this in one dimensional array. We cannot fit this in one dimensional array. Okay, so we have 2 dimensional arrays. We have 2 dimensional arrays. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that student 1 has his first grade in the first quiz, the second grade for the second quiz, the third grade for the third quiz. So easy. Student 2 will have the first grade for quiz 1. Anyways, so the first bracket here is for the student. The second bracket here is for the quiz. So if we go to this cell, so what does this mean? It means that this is the third quiz for the fourth student. But why is it 3 and 2? Because our index starts from 0, not 1. So grade 3 and 0, this is the fourth student and the quiz number 1. This is student number 4 and quiz 2. This is student number 3 and quiz number 4 and quiz 3. So this is basically a 2-dimensional array. How is it declared? It is declared by 2 brackets. The first bracket for the row number, the second bracket for the column number. And here is the name of the array. So this is a 2-dimensional array. 1-dimensional array, so student average, and then quiz average. So this is 1-dimensional array. So in principle, student average, so this is the average of the grades for certain student. So for Adham, his average, let's say 80. For Yasin, it's 90. For Freddy, it's 100. So this is the student average for his quizzes. For the quiz average, it is the average of the quizzes for all the students. So the average of the first quiz for all the students is 95. The average of the quiz, the second quiz, which is basically the summation of the grades for all the students divided by the number of students. It's the average. And here we go. That's why this is two-dimensional array, and that's why this is one-dimensional array. Let's go for one example for a function that implements so. So this function, it takes two-dimensional array and it takes an input one-dimensional array. And it simply has two loops. It simply has two loops. What is the objective of this function? The objective of this function is to compute the student average. So in principle, it sums the grades of Adham and divided by 3, which is the number of quizzes. It makes an average for the grades of for Freddy. It makes an average for the grades of Yusuf. So there are two loops. This is the first loop, and this is the second loop. So the first loop, it loops for the number of students. So for each student, I am going to sum up his grades. So for student 1, this is the first loop. I am going to sum up his grades. And then I am going to calculate the average for the student. Then I go for the second student. And then this inside loop, the one that is in green, it is going to sum up the grades for the second student and then compute the average. And the third loop, it is going to sum up the grades for the third student and for the fourth students and compute their averages. What do I care here? I just care to tell you the way how to pass two-dimensional array to a function. Type. Look here again. I am going to remove everything. Look at this green thing. So you're passing a two-dimensional array. Look here, you're passing one-dimensional array. How does this look like in the main? I don't have the main for this, but the main is simply calling this function compute student average, and then you give them my grades and my students. This is two-dimensional array and this is one-dimensional array. So this is basically the story of two-dimensional array. The story of two-dimensional array is adding another dimension, which is basically this second bracket. Remember, first dimensional array and second dimensional array, the index starts from 0. So I want you at home to try to understand this function. How does it work? So compute the average for the students. It is two loops inside each other, starting by the first students, compute his quizzes. This is the second loop, and then compute the average. If I want to compute the quiz average, so what do? The outer loop اللوب البرانية is for the quizzes واللوب الجوانية is for the student, the vice versa. So try to read this example. Okay, so I'll stop here, and next time we're going to have a really long lecture to finish the review, inshallah. So we'll have something that is 1 hour and 45 minutes. I'm sorry for making this lengthy, but this is for your benefit for having a review. Unless you have questions, so thank you very much. I'll send the recording tomorrow, and good luck. Attend the lab, and we're going also to review the material in the lab with you in the next lecture, inshallah, for the pointers and the classes. So have a good evening, and thank you very much for coming by.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, doctor.
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 دكتور هو انا لو ما حضرتش اللاب ممكن يوم الخميس عادي صح؟
بس بلاش يا أندرا اللاب ده بالذات.
اعرف النهارده خالص.
ما
عندي دكتور ابوينتمنت عشان كده لازم اروحه.